Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I really appreciate you being here. Today I'm going to talk to you about a very topic-specific subject, and it's called sulfur. It has to do with detoxification. It has to do with you cleaning your better and body and doing better, of course, because that's what I'm all about. I'm Hilde Larsen, the health and mindset coach. I'm your detox specialist. I'm a speaker. I'm an author of 3 books, From Hell to Inspired, Know the Truth and Get Healthy, and No More Bullshit. Most of all, I'm a life enthusiast, and this is why. I walked from hell to inspired. I walked out of autoimmune. I walked out of being bedridden, years of pain. I could not go outside the house. I had so much anxiety and ulcers. Now, from doing all that, my experience with detoxification is now 12 years long. And although I've been raw for 12 years, I've only been on fruits for 6. And doesn't mean that all my clients are on fruits, of course. You know, I guide them from where they are to where they want to be. But the thing is this, I'm thinking the experience that I have, it's worth taking a subject like sulfur and telling you a little bit about it, because I don't see that much being spoken about. Dr. Morse speaks about it. And I want to give you a little bit of a background why I want to talk to you about it right now and why you need to know about this. Because I see so many people gagging down the MSM, sulfur, not really knowing what they're doing. And here's my experience. And I really want you to draw something from this. Okay. So I was born with dark brown eyes. My mother will state to this day that I will die with brown eyes. I was born with brown eyes. It's what I have. Not true. I was born so clogged up lymphatically that they looked brown. They appeared brown. Now, being an iridologist myself, being able to read the eyes, I can see that was always also only a buildup of old lymphatic waste and a lot of sulfur. And I'm going to tell you what sulfur is and why we have it, how to get it out, and what it feels like, because it will burn your butt when it comes out. I'm on a juice fast right now, and this is day 56 or 7 maybe, and let me tell you, it's still burning, and this is 12 years on raw. Yes, ma'am. And my experience on raw goes like this. You transition from a sad diet, which I grew up with. I lived on milk and potatoes like most of the Western country. We didn't know better than that. It was just a regular household diet, like everybody else in my street. Then I went to doing what I thought was even healthier myself. I went on the Diet Coke, low calories. I went to the gym every day. I was an aerobics instructor. I was a spinning instructor. I had family. I had another business. I was an interior designer. I was a builder. I sold complete packages. I did everything. And then I had my salad, and I had my chicken, and I had my cheese doodles every night. And I woke up and I had 2 eggs in the morning and 2 packs of cigarettes almost during the day. I had my beer on the weekends. I got drunk every other weekend. I was just living my life filled with stress like everybody else was. Little did I know that I was just driving my car, hitting that wall at 1,000 miles an hour, and when it hit, and it hurt. And that's a whole other story. That's my book, From Hell to Inspired, which you can get on Amazon or anywhere else. And this is not what this is about, but just to give you a little bit of a background of where I'm coming from. Because when I went into the raw and I transitioned from that out of pure desperation, I didn't know what more drugs to put into me. The hospitals didn't know what more drugs to put into me. My doctor didn't know what he could prescribe me. He prescribed me anything I wanted. He always prescribed me everything I wanted because I was a smart one. I read. So I just went from doing what the doctors gave me to what I wanted to give me, because I wanted to get rid of the critters. I understood something needed to leave my body. So I went down that road, and I went to the raw. I went to vegan first. I read. I had internet. This was before Facebook, even imagine. But we had the internet, so I went through that. Transitioned slowly to raw. But I stayed on the grain. I stayed on the nuts. I stayed on the seeds. Heavy on fats. High on salt. Big mistake, people. You need to go low fat. You need to go no salt. You need to get the fruits in. So it took me many years to awaken from that. I was drawn in to that belief system that fruit was going to hurt me. So, and the reason I'm telling you this is because I got a little better on raw, sure. But in my state, and in the state that I see so many of you, and if somebody bammed you with an autoimmune or anything like that, I'll be the first one to tell you that's not going to cut it. You really need to dig so deep within you to get that out. And I'm telling you again, here is the sulfur. You know what sulfur is? It's a buildup of yellow, neon yellow, smelly, hot acids. And antibiotics will just allow it in. And you know what's the highest sulfur foods? Onions of any kind. And now we're taking the SMS, pure sulfur, into our body. And yes, we're supposed to have sulfur in our body. And yes, there are sulfur in vegetables. And I'm not talking about that. That is bioavailable sulfur. That's what we get from the plant. Same thing with salt. We do need salt. Of course we do. Look at celery. It's filled with all the salt. You know what salt is? Salt really means, it's just a mineral. Now, when we're thinking about salt, we're thinking about sodium. We need all the salts. And they're the minerals. And we get all of our minerals from plants, fruits and vegetables. But that's another story. But the sulfur, you see, when you have a stagnant lymphatic system, like I did, because we're looking at the eyes again. So things are not moving out. So the crap is not coming out. The shit is not coming out. The lymph is not moving. And I'm not talking about not moving because I'm not moving. I'm talking about stagnation within the body. The sewer system is not moving. So think about that. What happens to a house if the sewer system doesn't work, right? Not pretty. So that was what was happening to me and a lot of other people. Maybe even you. So this stagnation comes from the lack of elimination. Now, why wouldn't we eliminate? That's the best question, I think. Because our kidneys are not filtering out the lymphatic waste. And why aren't they? Because our adrenals are so low and they're controlling the kidneys. This is an easy explanation. This is an easy explanation. And that's all we need to know for this presentation, or this talk, rather. So, okay, so what about the adrenals? Well, did you know that the adrenals also control sugar metabolism, or has a large role in sugar metabolism? That's why the pancreas is not at fault when you're talking about diabetes too. No, it's the adrenals. And what happens with low adrenals? What happens with low sugar metabolism? You're inviting in even more sulfur, fungus, critters. So the thing is this, what I see with sulfur is that it will leave the body, but it won't leave the body the first week you're taking the train. It won't leave the body the first day you eat an apple, or even the first day you go dry. Why? Because it's in the tissue. It's mostly in the intestinal wall. Because what I see from the eyes, that it emanates from the intestines. It emanates from your whole, and I could say colon, but it's not true. See, we're running after colonoscopy, we're doing the colon therapy, hydrotherapy, and we're doing enemas. And thank God for being able to do an enema. If you're so constipated you can't go to the bathroom every day, you have to do an enema if there's no herbs or food or diet that's going to help you in the now. But it's never a solution. You know another thing the adrenals do? They fire up the energy for the bowels to contract, to move. Now, when I look in the eyes, I can see sulfur all over the body in some people, like myself. But it stems from the intestinal tract. It radiates out from the intestinal tract. From being born with stagnant lymph from your mother, from having a shitty diet, from taking a lot of sulfur drugs, antibiotics being one of them, sulfur drugs, antibiotics being one of them, by not taking care of your elimination, you'll see the sulfur. And it literally burns your cells. And this is why I see so many people have a hard time walking towards health in a shorter period of time. And that's why it's very important for all of you to realize we're so different. I'm 12 years walking and I'm not even thinking that I would be all the way clean. I don't know. There's not a destination. This is not what this is about. But my experience tells me that from working with you, if you really step it up and want this, if you want your health, and you look in your eyes and you see, or have someone else look in your eyes, or have me look in your eyes, and you see that you have sulfur, that you have old stagnation with sulfur, you need to step it up. Now, what will it feel like? Well, when you're releasing sulfur from your intestinal tract, it will feel like nausea from hell on the way out. I'm experiencing it, and I have experienced it big time. And I do see it with clients. So this is not like one person's experience. I would never share that with you. I only share when I've done things an extended period of time and with many other people to see that there is a similarity and that we do experience the same thing. After periods of deep nausea, I see release of sulfur. I feel release of sulfur. How do I feel it? It burns. I remember 2 different clients. They went on a great fast, both I think for close to 30 days. Maybe one was 20, but they both said the same thing. And they said, "What's happening, Hilde? I am pooping out burning lava. Yellow burning lava." I look in their eyes, they're both the same thing. The intestinal filled with sulfur. So you see, there are only 2 colors of eyes in human beings, genetically, blue and brown. If yours are not blue and they're not brown, you're not. That doesn't mean that everybody that has blue eyes is in perfect health. No, you can have a lot of other things going on, a lot of lymphatic stagnation. That is more of a white coating, but that's a different video. And the same thing with brown. And with brown eyes, it's a little harder to detect, and that's obvious, right? That's logic, because brown and yellowish and darker brown and lighter brown, it's much easier to look at a blue eye and see that. Okay, so I hope this topic inspired you a little bit to dig deeper. And I know that a lot of people are interested in these specific issues, so I'll try to keep up with you because you're getting so educated and interested. And I just love having you as members because we have been doing book clubs and all of these fun stuffs. I love having you as YouTube watchers because you keep asking me questions and you keep sending me emails. And you know what I see is that the release of sulfur is one thing, but you can never get past any release. And I'm not talking about just the sulfur now, without the emotional. You have to remember this. First and foremost, it's about your mindset. Why? Because you wouldn't even be doing this if you didn't have the mindset to it. And another thing, you have to be ready for a roller coaster ride when it comes to emotional ups and downs. Because every time you release something from your body, there is an emotion that goes with it. There is so much old crap that is attached to everything that we're holding on to. And it's freeing to let it go, but it can look really dark at the time. Okay? So that comes into play. And in a regime like this, where I'm talking about getting rid of the sulfur, we're also talking about you getting rid of your critters, about your amoebas. There could be viruses in there. There could be bacteria, and those they're entities. They have consciousness. They can mess with you, give you cravings all over the place. So be aware of that and just reach out if you need any help, because that's what I love the most, to talk about is the emotional. It's what is going to get you there. Okay, so happy sulfur hunting, but just know it burns, it's yellow, it smells, and it needs you to dig deep to get to it. Okay, and yes, eye colors will change as you do this deep cleansing. Okay, namaste, and keep watching, and I love you, and happy health to you.